Norway, land of the Vikings, land of the trolls, passageway to the Arctic, home of the Northern Lights. There is one very special valley in Norway that is home to other more mysterious lights. Hessdalen, home of the Hessdalen Valley lights. Join us as we explore this strange, rich landscape.
Yeah, it's moving all right. It's moving a lot right now.
Something in a tree? Like, what is
Where lights float and fly through the sky.
It's insane. Oh my God!
Over the hills, through the trees, and in and out of the waters. Join us on a trip to Norway to investigate an amazing mystery of the living sky. Our planet's atmosphere is a rich, vital habitat, largely unexplored. Many unexplained atmospheric phenomena seem to resemble life forms found in Earth's oceans. I call this hypothesis the living sky. There is vast and growing evidence for UFOs and UAPs. Most evidence does not indicate that they are engineered craft. It seems instead to suggest they have biological origins. Many UFOs that look like saucers and rockets seem to resemble marine organisms like jellyfish and squid. We can test the living sky hypothesis by investigating locations on Earth's surface where people regularly see so-called mystery lights. These locations have rich resources that could provide habitats to support aerial life. Our studies at Brown Mountain, North Carolina, Marfa, Texas, and West Point, Virginia have all shown signs of atmospheric life. Now we are visiting Norway to search for the famous Hessdalen Valley lights. The skies and waters of Norway house many mysteries. From 1907, one of the first UFO photos ever taken shows an object that looks like a squid hovering over a Norwegian harbor. Witnesses have reported giant rocket-shaped objects flying through the air to land in the waters of the fjords. Norwegians have repeatedly seen fleets of these mystery rockets and ghost submarines moving through water and through air into the waters. Radar has recorded their movement. For decades, people have reported mysterious lights in the sky, among the trees, and in the waters of one particular Norwegian valley. Welcome to Hessdalen. Over the years, witnesses have seen and recorded lighted objects moving through the skies here. Hessdalen Valley provides a unique habitat niche atop some mountains in mid-Norway. The river Hessja runs through the town and joins with Lake Oyungen. Rich evergreen forests line the river. The surrounding mountains above the tree line are covered with thickets of fluorescing lichen, moss, ferns, and even carnivorous plants. This valley lies along a route to the north. Something in the valley alters chemicals and electromagnetic energy. Thinking about atmospheric habitats, we must consider the vast current running along the Hessdalen Valley toward and from the North Pole. Could this act as a charged runway for living UFOs to launch into space, boosted by the pole's magnetic fountain? Hessdalen lies near a unique habitat edge, the edge between Arctic conditions and warmer, greener lands. Looking out over the huge skies here, we're compelled to think of the vast, powerful forces around us. But aerial life might also find shelter, water, and food in smaller niches closer to Earth. For decades, I've read and watched stories of the Hessdalen lights. I've admired the exploits and dedication of pioneer Erling Strand and his team. In 1983, he established Project Hessdalen, a group that has actively studied the lights for over 40 years. Project Hessdalen maintains an evolving array of equipment for ongoing study of the valley. Over the years, scientists from around the world have visited Hessdalen to test their hypotheses to explain the source of the lights.
I'm impressed with Hessdalen itself because Hessdalen is really a UFO laboratory. It's a place where things are happening and where things can be studied.
Some think the lights are forms of plasma. Some think they are caused by electromagnetic energy released from mineral deposits in the mountains. Some think the lights are alien visitors drawn to the valley for purposes unknown.
In 2025,
Project Hessdalen sponsored a field trip study week for fellow scientists and researchers to visit and study the valley. We are here at the invitation of Project Hessdalen to investigate whether conditions are right for life in the sky. We hope to see if some of the Hessdalen Valley lights could be caused by bioluminescent aerial organisms. We flew over from the United States. The crew included my sons Tom and Will, Handy Andy Dresher, and myself. We landed in Norway's capital Oslo, and then we flew to the city of
Trondheim.
There we met Fred Pallesen, Chief Operating Officer of Project Hessdalen.
So I was up at 6 o'clock, not looking for the light, getting ready for the breakfast. There is a phenomena. And because there is something and we still don't know what it is, there must be a big answer. Why not study this phenomena where you know the phenomena is? But we know it's here.
He showed us Nidaros Cathedral, Norway's 1,000-year-old national shrine, with its Gothic facade of statues telling stories. We dined at Egon, a rotating restaurant atop a tower, viewing
Trondheim.
as we ate. We traveled by car to an information board on the road into Hessdalen. We stood at the foot of the great hill Ragna, which provides a spectacular vantage point for the valley. We were excited for Andy to pilot his field-tested drone. This tool could help us closely examine the valley's unique microclimate. We set up fast and Andy got a few nice drone shots near sunset, but when he flew the drone away from the mountain, he ran into trouble. Drone trouble.
Something's wrong with the drone. It's not responding. It should come back by itself. I don't have a signal. It's just hovering there. Oh wait, I'm moving around. I can try and get a weak signal back. I'm just gonna bring this drone right back.
The drone was fried.
I checked online. 85% of the drone operators report trouble in Hessdalen. Well, I guess I should have done that research before.
We packed up our crippled drone and checked into our cabin. Across the road from our cabin was Hessdalen UFO Camp. The camp has creatively designed huts with transparent roofs for comfortably viewing the sky above Hessdalen.
Our first night, we stood on a point overlooking where River
Hesha.
joins Lake.
Oyn.
The hill called Point Bravo stood behind us. We watched the skies.
Here's what a plane looks like as it passes overhead. Here are some photographs of the Milky Way that night. The stars shine brightly in the clear Norwegian sky. You can see 6 streaks in this one shot of the sky, 6 separate objects moving overhead.
We used a very low-light camera to record this pulsing multicolored object that was browsing through the vegetation along the edge of the water.
Something in the Hessdalen skies fried the circuitry of an operating drone. We learned that one gas can short electrical circuits, sulfur hexafluoride. This gas is naturally found near sulfur springs. We discovered that Hessdalen Valley is home to several old sulfur mines, so we planned to visit one of these mines near the river Hesja the next day. Several reports link unidentified flying objects with sulfur. Some marine invertebrates need sulfur to grow.
This area around Hessdalen has several old sulfur mines. Some people have even reported seeing lights around.
He saw something coming slowly up from the river. She saw it was a bright object as big as a truck. Around it, it was something glowing, made this light. And she saw it slowly moving upwards, and then it disappeared.
These springs or mines could provide nutrients and shelter for aerial life.
We're gonna climb down the hill to find the exit to the old mine. It's hidden along the river.
This is beautiful. Birds flying. The cave is nestled in a hill on the side of the river. This is the exit to a large sulfur mine that was once worked in the field above. Runoff water percolates through the sulfur above and drips into the cave, creating a sulfur-rich pond. Our lights revealed these objects flying in and out of the cave. Make note of these, we may see them again later.
We set up a time-lapse camera. This would take a still picture of the cave entrance every 3 seconds.
We're gonna set up a couple bait lights. These are little LED lights. And you're gonna have them start pulsing and blinking and see if we can attract something to come down and catch it on a time-lapse camera.
We hoped the lights might attract or reveal flying objects that use light to communicate. We climbed the hill out of the river valley to a quaint farm cabin. There we had the honor of interviewing Erling Strand and Fred Pallesen. Erling Strand is founder of Project Hessdalen. For over 40 years, he's studied the phenomena here and encouraged others to study them.
My name is Erling Petter Strand. I live in Norway, so that's a Norwegian name. I have been working as an assistant professor at the University College for many years. My teaching topic has been technical. I read about the Hessdalen Phenomena in the newspaper and in the radio and television as well, reported about all the sightings which took place up in this Hessdalen Valley. One day in late September 1982. And that is a day I remember. It was my first tour to Hessdalen, and it was my first sightings of the light phenomena in Hessdalen. I didn't believe we would see it the first night we were here. So lucky. But that happened. I and another person of this group was standing on Mount Fjords and was looking towards south, and there I saw the light. It was so bright. Before I maybe thought, well, it's maybe if I'm lucky I see a small light moving, but it was huge. It was bright. I was so surprised how strong it was. Wouldn't have imagined how strong it could be. Intense light. And then it started to move and stopped. And moved again and stopped. And it continued with this movement and stopping for close to 2 hours. This light started to make this beam of light up in the air and also down on the ground. And stopped and beam on the ground again. From my location, I saw only the beams of light going up in the air, but the other group saw it when it was beaming also light down to the ground. I could also say that the other group which saw it closer, on one occasion was a little bit afraid because the light was moving towards their position. When it turned on the light pointing down on the ground and come closer and closer, and I was afraid. What happened when this spotlight hit us and they see us? But luckily, that did not happen. I got the impression that when it was on, the light intensity was quite steady. I did not see any flickering or something. It was quite steady, I will say. The light was moving in all different directions, even up and down and back and forth. So there was no structure in the movement. That sighting changed my life. That made me even more curious. And of course, I was a researcher, and a researcher should investigate the unknown. And I got the feeling also that very few people actually had investigate such kind of light.
Fred Pallison is Chief Executive Officer of Project Hessdalen. He's the motivator for Field Trip Study Week. Fred has helped the project make huge strides in outreach and study methods.
My name is Fred Pallison. It was after I had actually become the new leader, the CEO of Hessdalen. I hadn't even visited the valley. I had only met Erling on the screen, discussing what could be done because he was retiring, and I was thinking like, okay, somebody needs to do something. And I guess I like to make presentations. I have been here now 5-6 times. Of course, looking for it, but I've mostly been into like organizing things. I organized this conference last year. So I was up at 6 o'clock, not looking for the light, getting ready for the breakfast. The goal of Project Hessdalen is basically to find out what the phenomena is, but also to kind of bring this discussion up, because there is a big question. There is something that defies physics, seems to. That's one thing. I mean, things moving so fast, appearing and disappearing. What is that? It doesn't have to be a dimension of some kind, but whatever it is, there is so many indications that this is a strange phenomenon. And there's also indication that there is a non-human's presence in this valley. So that brings up really big questions.
The future of the project looks exciting.
That night we stood again on the point overlooking where River Hessdalen joins Lake Lunde. Behind us loomed Point Bravo.
Project founder Erling was there.
And I was walking and boom, touch them. In the middle of the air, it was like a person, not physical person.
Erling still actively studies the skies.
At the overlook, our car headlights revealed a swarm of rod-shaped objects swimming around us. Here they are in slow motion. Some people have said that these particles are merely dust or precipitation blowing in the wind. Yet when we see independent movement by single particles, instead of uniform dropping or blowing, I wonder if forms of life sometimes shower from the skies. Then we noticed another faint light coming from below us. The vast forest of lichen and moss all around us was faintly glowing.
The light was faint to the naked eye. We carried an ultraviolet flashlight. When we shone the UV light on the plants, we were shocked to see that many of them fluoresced. Different plants had different light patterns. On some plants, only certain leaves shone. We also found fluorescent invertebrate life, like this creepy blue spider. Hessdalen's life is using light right under our feet. Tomorrow, we would meet the other attendees and officially kick off Hessdalen Field Trip Study Week. We joined scientists, researchers, and others attending Field Trip Study Week for the first time at Kafekra, a charming coffee shop in Allen, Norway. People came from around Norway, Europe, England, and the USA. Throughout the field trip, we met and worked with interesting people from Norway and around the world. We will share some of their stories and share our adventures as we got to know the Valley of the Lights.
Tom Andre Lunde, Maverick drone pilot. Tom helped us get some great drone shots after Andy's drone got fried.
My name is Tom. I'm from Norway. I'm 39 years old. And now I'm in Hessdalen. I'm very interested in this the light phenomena. I have been interested in this topic since I've been a child, and now I'm just trying to figure out what's happening here. It may have been about 15 times now, maybe. Keep hiking the mountains and looking for the light.
Have you ever seen the light?
Yeah, I've seen it 3 times. It was last September. I hiked Finsahøgda with a friend. It was in the evening, so it was dark, and it was clear skies, and I can see the northern lights. It was perfect for observations. We were hiking along the road, and suddenly we saw this light bulb shooting over the horizon. And after a couple of minutes, we saw a new flash, the same light bulb, again over the horizon. And then we confirmed with each other that it had to be the light phenomena. We saw this light coming towards us, and as we were looking at it, the light went through a cloud, and it came out again, and then it slowly disappeared.
John Arvid Aspas is a longtime Hessdalen resident.
Bare fortell hvor det er fra.
Ja,
Og hva det heter.
jeg heter Jon Arvid Aspås, og jeg kommer fra Hessdalen.
His name is Jon Arvid Aspås, and he lives here in Hessdalen.
He has seen the lights many times.
At that time, did other people in the valley see the lights?
På den samme tida så noen andre i dalen de lysene dere så?
Nei, ikke akkurat da, men litt senere i jula. Da far min, han bodde borti veien her. Og han og nabokjæringen var på bingo om kvelden. Det gjorde det. Og de kom at og skulle kjøre over jorda bortpå her. Da fikk de så et sånt lys som på fremme Ingsøyda bort der. De stoppet og så på det der, og det der lyset gikk litt, så stoppet det litt, og så fortsatte på det viset. Så det var jo det som gjorde at vi begynte å oppmerksom på at det var noe helt spesielt.
Var det far din du snakket om nå?
Ja.
Not at that time in November 1980. He hadn't heard about anyone else seeing the light. But in the same year, in December, Jon Arvid's father was at bingo in Åland. And when they came back, they were driving up this valley again. And he actually lived just down the road here. And when they came back, they also saw this light moving down the valley. After that, people began to see the lights occurring all over this Hessdalen Valley.
Do they show curiosity towards people?
Flytter de seg unna folk, eller viser de at de er litt nysgjerrige på folk?
Jeg tror nok at det mest du kan oppdage, da kan jeg si at de holder seg litt vekk fra folk. Men jeg har jo vært så nede som kanskje 30 meter. Og da kom det jo sigeren bare at i flates ikke mot oss og for forbi. Vi var 4 stykker som tog sånne.
He says that the lights kind of stay away at not a special distance, but he tries to keep distance. But he has also experienced that he and a couple of other persons just saw the light moving in front of them and just continuing in that direction, and that was about 30 meters or so. They heard this big sound that came from the mountain, and Jon Arvid has tried to describe how the sound was, and he has actually said it was like when a Harley Davidson comes. It was extremely intense, and it came from the mountain. And the other thing that was that happened was that the trees and the vegetation just laid down. Rumbling sound, and on the vegetation and trees, everything just laid down. And this sound continued for about 3, 4, 5 minutes. And when it disappeared, the vegetation and trees came up again. And he saw markings on the ground. After 4 places, there was like some 4 legs had come down and landed on the ground.
He also shared stories of other Hessdalen mysteries.
So another thing that happened where people have seen these lights is actually this piece of marsh that was, there were 2, these are not the people, but there were 2 hunters in this area called Ledaren. And one of the hunters suddenly came across this strange hole in the ground. And he went towards it to investigate it. And when he came to the hole, he can actually see that a piece of the marsh that you can see on this picture had been lifted up from the ground, moved a little bit forward, and then put down again. The piece of marsh had been cut out with laser precision, both on sides and underneath. And they had tried to find out what the weight of this piece of marsh is, and they have found out that it's about 1,000 or 1,500 kilograms.
Ragna is almost 3,000 feet tall, It overlooks the Hessdalen Valley. It provides a great vantage point. After our interview, we hiked up to meet Tom and Will. We met them at the top of Ragna.
Being on this mountain gives you some idea of the size and scale of the valley's landscape. A metal box at the top contains greetings from visitors from around the world. We all signed it.
Climbing down the mountain, I'm thinking this is where Andy's drone got fried. What unknown forces could be pulsing through the sky here? That evening, we gathered at the UFO camp for a big campfire. People from all over the world gathered to share their fascinating stories about the lights.
My name is Bjørn Magnar. I lived here for 24 years. I'm a a contractor and I'm a farmer.
He designs and produces the UFO camp cabins.
That's mine and my wife. We are running it and rent out cabins for tourists from the whole world. I have from Italy, German, France, America. We have from China too.
He's also Chief Financial Officer for Project Hessdalen. He has personally experienced the phenomena.
I have seen it 5-6 times maybe. One time was very special because me and my daughter was outside. We work outside the barn. We put some hay in our tilhenger. And when I stand there, she was 3 years old. And suddenly she said to me, "Daddy, the plane come and crash at us." And I turn around and I see some lights coming under the horizon, directly to us, maybe 150, 200 meters over the ground. Stops at 300 meters, turn 90 degrees and just directly up. And I come back home and they told me they have seen the same light I saw. What's going up, and suddenly it splits in two and disappears. Well, I've seen a lot of flashes and some lights you see in the side. You can see some lights just going very fast. This one I see was very bright light, like a ball maybe, like a fireball. We have some place they call this UFO place in Hessdalen. Very popular in 80s and 90s. I was there with some other people who lived here. We go there and I have some sticks that I use for looking for water. Metal sticks with copper, and this going with cross. When you go over the ground and you find some water in the ground, or you can find cables or anything else. This they go with cross when you find water. But this here was very strange because when I walk on this road, these sticks go directly out and very powerful. So they pressed it out. And I walk, and when I stops, it's was no power anymore. So I go back, and then we stay and talk a little bit with this lady. And then she take a picture of me, and then on this picture you see some energy lights on my shoulder. And nothing happens before I reach this spot where it stops, then I go back out again. And it was heavy to walk. Some wall I press or something.
Kim Nyland has visited Hessdalen many times.
My name is Kim, and I am from Fredrikstad in Norway. I have been experiencing some strange lights since 2017. The first time I saw it was here in Hessdalen, and yeah. I do have some memories from when I was a child, when I saw strange lights in the woods where I lived. But I think I've been suppressing it, like they've been coming back to me when I was older. It's like lights in the forest, like the water where lake where I live. And I was coming home late at night and there was like this synchronized lights by the water that shouldn't be there. The first time I came to Hessdalen, I saw this I was very curious about it, and I was really thinking that this had a natural explanation. Then I saw this light. It reminded me of a planet that was very shiny, but then it started to move in like the number 8. That's not normal for a planet. And yeah, it changes colors and it changes brightness and it starts to jump up and down. Then it splits into 2 and it starts to drip from it like burning flames, like gasoline or something burning. And then it goes away, it comes back again, and then it starts to the ridge over here. And it started to go like a boat with a searchlight, just going over the ridge like this.
How many times have you been back to Hessdalen since then?
4 times. There it is like 1 red and 2 white lights in the sky, like making a triangle. And the triangle started to jump over the sky, like a car with an engine problem or something. And then it went away, and it started to do the same thing again, like someone playing off a video. So I think it did that 3 times before it came a fog in, and then it was all covered up. Right away after I went home, I started to see the same type of lights at my home in Gjøvik.
He feels that what he saw here may have followed him home. He recorded this object in the sky over his home. It seems to maneuver and change direction to keep him in sight. After our first climb today, tomorrow we would climb further to the tops of nearby mountains to explore the vast, mysterious area they call the Silent Zone. Tom and Andy took a bus tour to see sighting locations around Hessdalen. Will and I took a trek to the Silent Zone.
We're here today with Rainer and Mats, and we're going to travel into what they call the Silent Zone.
Right now we are in Deschaine, a small valley in Hessdalen, and we're going up the mountain here. It's called Finnsahøgda. We go up close to the stream, and then afterwards there's a plateau a little bit higher, and then you're walking for 1.5 hours roughly, starting from here, and then there's another valley. It's called Hessdalen. And sometimes we call it the Silent Zone because there are reports from hunters that animals do not go into the zone. So for example, hunters being out there have told that if a bird is coming and as soon as it would be above the stone, it's doing a 90-degree turn, going somewhere else. Also crafts and other stuff has been seen flying around day and night, so it sounds like a very interesting place, and that's where we are going today.
We had to climb several mountains with no definite trails. We reached the top of the mountains.
So here we have a nice overview of the Hessdalen Valley. There's a small stream running through the valley. It's very beautiful if you are down there. And yeah, you can see all the land around it.
We stood tiny amidst the huge wild landscape.
As far as the eye can see, spread miles and miles of lichen, moss, ferns, and bogs. We had no trails to follow, so each step was unsteady adventure.
Yeah, I'm all right.
This vast landscape features immense fields of low, spongy vegetation. Amidst the moss and lichen, there are larger bodies of water and many wet areas. We had heard tales of bottomless bogs. One researcher reportedly got stuck and was almost swallowed by a bog. Supposedly, birds and other animals avoid the Silent Zone. No one knows why. Rainer was hunting some magnetometers he had placed up here on a previous expedition. He was thrilled to find them.
Perfect. Wonderful. That's great.
Reiner and his colleagues studied magnetic fields atop the mountain. They saw the fields vary 15 degrees either way. We asked if that was normal. No, it is definitely not normal, and another facet to the Hessdalen mysteries.
We wandered for miles. Hiking across the mountaintops, we saw many unusual plants. Thinking they might be homes to fluorescing spiders made walking a bit uneasy. If we think of the atmosphere as a huge ocean, this area looks like a delicate coral forest.
Working our way over the hills as we descended from the silent zone, we saw yellow flowers on the rocks with no visible foliage. Mats told us these are
butterworts,
carnivorous plants. They have no need for green foliage to make food. They get nutrients from the prey they trap. What are they catching? The sticky petals of some of their flowers showed remnants of tiny insects. Could these deadly, beautiful stars be hunting more in the skies above the silent zone? We descended the mountain to our car by the lake. We joined up with Tom and Andy again.
We retrieved the camera from the mine. We were excited to see if we'd caught anything on video. Upon review, the lighting settings were all wrong, creating a psycho disco effect. We did, however, attract a curious visitor. We decided to reset to a steady, gentle purple color to see what that might attract. Then we redeployed the lights. Maybe we would catch something this time.
After hiking the silent zone all day, Reiner asked if we wanted to climb Point Bravo near dusk. We climbed 3,800 feet up Point Bravo, overlooking Hesje and Oyungen. The view was impressive. The wind was unbelievable.
Here we are at the top of the mountain here. Getting ready to go down.
We found some shelter behind a large rock near the top. It was hard to believe anything could fly in this wind. I wondered if whatever flew here was hiding in the trees and hills along the river valley. We descended from Point Bravo. We headed back to our cabin, sheltered in the valley. Tomorrow, we would make an epic jaunt to see Norway's fjords. On Monday, we chose to explore Norway's famous fjords. We left early and Solid Tom drove the whole day.
One cannot believe the scale of these natural wonders. We climbed to the top of one mountain by car. There we stood, mountaintop glaciers on one side, the fjords far below on the other side. Land of the trolls. One can imagine giant creatures rampaging across these epic landscapes. Nestled among the wilderness are quaint Norwegian towns.
Tom drove the long way back to Hessdalen. We had time to grab a few hours of sleep before our last full day when we made our greatest find. It's early in the morning, and we're following Reiner Hessdalen to a field above Hessdalen Valley, Norway, where Project Hessdalen's blue box stands. Reiner is a renowned German scientist who is Chief Technical Officer with Project Hessdalen.
My name is Rainer Hessdalen. So I'm a computer scientist from Germany, and I'm working at a research laboratory in Germany.
He designs and maintains the current blue box equipment.
And here's a very powerful server with powerful graphics card, trying with AI to classify everything they see. So if something is going through the camera streams, at the daytime a bird, insects, whatsoever, in the nighttime planes or satellites, so it tracks it, it detects motion in the video stream, and then it tries to detect what kind of object flew through.
The blue box is home base for Project Hessdalen's ongoing study of the valley.
So in Project Hessdalen, I'm a member of the technical team. This means I and some others, we put up new equipment into the blue box and also to other locations. We take care about the computers, the processing powers, the cameras, the sensors, reading them out, keeping everything running. I've known for a long time that there is a valley in Norway where they see things. So far, I have not seen anything abnormal myself in Hessdalen. So this is the third time I am here. I was here 2 times in 2024 and now 1 time in 2025. I did not see any unusual lights yet. There have been reports of strange and very loud sounds, which are heard at locations where there is no civilization, so in the middle of nowhere. There have been reports of lights or objects or bubbles from below the lakes in Hessdalen. So the range of phenomena is really, really huge. There have been reports that the light indeed interacted with observers. So in the very early years, Erling Strand did his field trips. And they were shining a laser to a light they observed. And the light was blinking. And then they shined the laser to it. It doubled in frequency. So then they stopped. The frequency went back to normal. Then they switched on the laser again and it doubled again. You have iron ore in the mountain and maybe zinc or copper on the other side. Then you have sulfur also going through. There's an old sulfur mine. So some people say it's like a natural battery charging up. So in Hessdalen there have been reported many magnetic anomalies, which means when you look at the compass, you measure Earth's magnetic fields, of course, and there have been reports, for example, of drones that didn't want to start or they didn't want to land properly and they are giving error messages. I think there must be more than one explanation to explain all these different kind of phenomena. So during my time in Project Hessdalen, I got to know many very intelligent people and coming from all fields of expertise. So I like this a lot, to talk to different people, also from different locations, from the US, from Australia, what they are doing, what they think this phenomenon may be. And I'm putting lots of my free time into this, but I really like doing this. I really like the scientific approach, so we put up the sensor, we want to measure stuff, get reliable data, also when possible close-up shots, because you cannot tell much about just a single light in the sky. So we want to see what it is, but with scientific methods.
We went back to the mine one last time to collect the time-lapse camera. We were excited to see if we recorded anything. We reviewed what the time-lapse captured. We were startled by what we saw.
That night, we had a group meeting called Pizza and Perspective at the town hall in Aalen. Pizza was provided by a local pizzeria. Perspective was provided by 3 speakers presenting talks. Erling Strand gave an epic account of the founding and works of Project Hessdalen.
People's attitude to the science behind this strange phenomena has changed to the better.
Rainer Hessdalen gave an impressive presentation of current Project Hessdalen techniques and recent findings. Among other innovations, Rainer has developed a way to automatically stack images to create what are time lapses in one shot. Since his presentation, his imaging has captured this amazing shot of an unknown object flying by the camera. It seems that many other objects emerge in the background. I presented some information about the living sky hypothesis, showing parallels between UFOs and marine invertebrates.
So I started to study the parallels between UFOs and marine invertebrates, and I found out that they seem to resemble each other in at least 10 specific ways. In one way, UFOs resemble marine invertebrates in appearance. They resemble marine invertebrates is their use of bioluminescence. UFOs resemble marine invertebrates in the way they move. UFOs resemble marine invertebrates in their individual behavior. They seem to have some kind of curiosity in people, in planes, in cars. They also resemble marine invertebrates in the way they behave in groups, is how they have life cycles and populations. Seventh way UFOs resemble marine invertebrates is the way they feed and hunt. UFOs sometimes seem to attack humans. The next way the UFOs resemble marine invertebrates is in their effects on humans. Short-term and long-term physical and neurological effects, sometimes very severe. The ninth way is the way they leave physical traces and tracks. The 10th way the UFOs resemble marine invertebrates is they're found in likely habitats.
I shared some of our findings from other locations. Then I presented highlights from our time-lapse of the old sulfur mine. We were startled to see many luminous objects flashing around the cave during the night.
Some have wondered whether these lights show reflecting water droplets or merely bugs. However, all the locals we asked said the valley has no native bioluminescent insects. These may be some other forms of bioluminescent invertebrates.
We see multiple lighted objects. Sometimes they move in groups.
Here is an array of some of the objects captured by the time-lapse. They have not been sharpened or color enhanced. These are just clean enlargements of some of the objects recorded in one night.
Could these be the same pulsing objects we saw earlier in daylight?
Another object glowed on the hill above the cave.
Then we saw this, an eel or worm-like object floating in the air. This object resembles objects previously recorded at Hessdalen. Other objects move through the cave, checking out the lights.
They seem to show particular interest in this one light. The light attracts the object and reveals their presence. We also recorded an unusual object at the cave entrance during late morning.
Invertebrates can start life very small and grow to be huge. Could these small lights be made by life forms that feed on the minerals here as they mature to produce the larger lights seen over Hessdalen? We followed the hypothesis. We studied the landscape. We showed the results.
We planned to perform one last experiment. We wanted to send a glowing weather balloon into the sky to attract anything cruising around up there. We inflated the balloon with helium. We sprayed the balloon with glow paint and filled it with some fine glow powder.
God. Incredible Hulk just busted in my eye.
We charged up the glow.
Yeah, let her rip. Let her go.
We sent the balloon into the night sky. The more line we gave the balloon, the more it pulled down.
Yes, let it rip.
Pull it back, caught on something.
It's got a leak. We recovered the balloon, but a leak had been torn in it. Some of the glow powder sprayed on me, and then the balloon popped and covered Tom with glow dust, turning him into the glowing man. Then we got distracted by the northern lights. These waves of solar energy hitting the atmosphere shimmered above us. They were visible to the naked eye, but an iPhone reveals more detail. While we were watching the lights, some glowing object flew by us in the sky.
It's insane, dude. It's insane.
We didn't even notice until we viewed the footage later. Maybe it pushed our balloon into the trees. We retired to the cabin to pack for departure. We left the valley, satisfied but hoping to return for another look. What can we do next? Continue to work with and support Project Hessdalen. They are getting great new results almost every day. Using Reiner's visualizations, we can watch the skies there.
Here is one recent capture from his setup that seems to show an object, or part of a much larger object, poking through the clouds, seeming to hover, and then instantly streaking off. This recent capture shows a glowing object browsing a circuit between the hilltops. At one point, it definitely pauses and hovers around a tree. Could this object be using bioluminescence to hunt?
We should revisit the old sulfur mine cave. We should study other nearby mines and springs. We should try to get a better look at what's flying around the sulfur mines. We could design on-site observation chambers. Negative air pressure vacuums nearby flying objects into the chamber. Bright lights can reveal their form. High-speed cameras can reveal their true nature. We should more closely observe the mountaintops, including the silent zone environment. What is moving through the sky overhead that makes it so forbidding? We could record time lapses to study the growth and activity of the carnivorous plants. We know that some organisms move into and out of bodies of water. We could set up long-term monitoring of the surfaces of Lake Oyungen and River Hesje. There are several islets in Lake Oyungen that may provide unique habitats worth watching. Our goals should include to explore, observe, collect, and identify. If there is life in the sky of Hessdalen's Valley of Light, we should commit to finding and learning about it. In the land of the trolls, in the land of the northern lights, in the Hessdalen Valley, we encountered strange forces and saw mysterious lights flying around a sulfurous cave near the river Hesje. The Valley of Light showed us that it holds many more secrets waiting to be revealed. What will we see next? What will we see when we next look into the living sky?